Good morning. It is a cool Saturday morning in almost June. It's the last day of May. I have been waiting all week to plant the rest of my plants out. And to be honest, today is not an ideal day. It is 8 degrees right now and so windy. So it's cold outside. The plants are not going to like this at all, especially the peppers, but I just want to get them in the ground. I'm still struggling with my Defense Against the Dark Arts chicken version. And I was talking with Brian this morning, like this is what was keeping me up last night, is how I'm going to keep the chickens out of the garden for the summer. And I was thinking about all the different things I could do and methods, and I think we've kind of landed on buying that kind of plastic deer netting and extending the fence on the garden with some posts so they can't fly in. I'm worried about them getting caught up in the netting, but this netting has such small holes that I feel like it's not going to be a problem. I'm optimistic today that I'm going to get all the plants in and my seeds planted, but that's doubtful because my beds aren't even prepped. We've been busy every night after work, splitting wood to refill the sugar shed kind of wood store, moving things around. We're trying to build a wood shed. So we got lots of projects on the go, which is good. I mean, there's never kind of a dull moment. But yeah, I do want to get the garden in the ground and kind of get that off and running so that we have some food to preserve in August, late July and August. So anyways, let's go outside and see what's shaking in the garden. Simon has commandeered the chicken coop in a very big way. He's something else.
Hey, Fancy. How are you, old lady? Fancy's 5 years old. So is this barred rock.
I honestly can never wear anything nice when I work outside. I watch a lot of other YouTubers and they always look like so done up, makeup, hair, and all this stuff. But literally like a second after I step outside, I'm a mess. I got chicken poop on me. I got feed dust on me. It's like, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they always look so good. I'll actually have to do some chicken coop maintenance today. Put some more wood chips down. Maybe I'll just hop in and do that right now. Might as well, right here. I do use the deep bedding method, which is awesome. You just keep adding wood chips over the poop, and then you clean it out. I clean it out twice a year, in the fall and in the spring. Basically, once it starts to smell, that's when I put new wood shavings down. So this is where I hardened off my my plants. This is where I hang up my laundry, just so that the chickens kind of couldn't get at them. And Brian was kind enough, he made this like protective barrier. This was also for wind and like sun exposure, just to kind of protect them as they hardened off. But I have all my tomatoes, peppers, cauliflower, basil, and I have 2 sycamore here that I started, sycamore trees that won't obviously get planted, but I'm going to pot them up and grow them on. Anyways, so I'm going to carry these over to the garden. I watered them well, and it rained last night too, so that their roots have lots of water before they're planted. I also have a rosemary plant I have to put in, but yeah, it's I'm gonna have a lot of plants to do. And actually the biggest job about planting, it's not actually the planting, it's prepping the beds. So I have to weed the beds, probably broad fork the beds, and then plant. And I'm not going to do any mulch, but then I got to put the irrigation in. So what is that? I see some damage on my pear trees and I'm not sure what it is. It's some kind of insect feeding on the leaves. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. I'm going to have to go in and get my glasses. I also My chicken proofing, although very like simple, is doing a good job. The peas have started to come up. So that's good. We're gonna have some kind of food. One of the other problems with this netting stuff that I've put on is that I have a really hard time seeing the plants through the mesh. And so right now I can see, it looks like I might have some insect damage on whatever that was there, the broccoli. So I'm gonna have to deal with that as well. Oh, you know, it could be slug. Could be slug damage. But I got my work cut out for me here today, to say the least. Holy cilantro, Batman. All that in that bed is all cilantro. Well, and weeds, but mostly cilantro. I have to weed the bed, but actually in this bed there's not very many weeds. It is, I have some lettuce that is volunteer. I think that's, I don't know what that is. And some dill. So some of the stuff I'm going to leave and I'm just going to plant around it. And when I broad fork, like, it might get killed, but I'm mostly just taking out the dandelions right now. And everything else I'm going to leave and let grow. Especially the dill, because black swallowtails lay their eggs on dill. So that would be cool to have some of them this year. Actually, I probably don't need to broad fork this. I think I might just plant the tomatoes and leave it kind of as it is. Just clear away the straw and plant, because it does look pretty good. I didn't label or like mark my tomato plants, so I have no idea what I'm growing, except for the one that I bought at the garden center. So I'm gonna plant that one here because it's cherry tomatoes, which I just like to snack on and come in and grab quick. And the rest will be a variety of heirloom tomatoes that I know we like. And just a reminder that when you're planting tomato plants, this is the one I bought called Sweet Million. You bury them deep because they will produce roots off the stem. So what I'm going to do is remove all of these lower limbs. And on this plant, there's quite a bit. You can definitely tell it was grown in a greenhouse. So I took off all of those lower, not limbs, but pieces, leaves, and I'm going to plant it right up to here. Nice and deep. There we go. The roots on these look really nice. Okay, that was pretty quick because I didn't have to like broad fork or anything. I just pop the plants in. So I'm gonna do the rest of the tomatoes and then move on to the peppers. I am going to plant the basil in with my tomatoes. I always do that. They're good for companion planting. But yeah, this is good. I always plant 3 tomato beds. But I don't know if I can't figure out if I have enough tomatoes, but that's okay because the beds that have the trellises at the end are shorter. So maybe I won't have as many tomatoes to fill them. Which is fine. I thought I got 2 basil plants, but it turns out I only got 1, so it can go here. Oh man! If I find another one this season, I'll get it. This basil did not like the cold weather, like at all. It's okay. It'll be fine. Well, I just had a moment of realization. What I thought was cauliflower is tagged with late cabbage, and I didn't want to grow cabbage again this year because I always have such a problem with earwigs that by the time I clean it, like harvest it, well, grow it, harvest it, clean it, it's not worth my time. And now I have cabbage. So I only had enough tomato plants to plant 2.5 beds. Totally fine. So I'm gonna plant this cabbage in with the other tomatoes. Don't get me wrong, I love cabbage. I'm a sauerkraut girly, but holy smokes. It's way better for me just to buy the cabbage from somebody else than for me to grow it. Maybe it'll be different this year. Who knows? Let's toss these in. Oy, oy, oy. I must have had nasturtiums growing here last year because there's a whole bunch seeded in the bed behind me, which is really nice. That means we're going to have some nice nasturtiums. The other thing I've been thinking about too is buying plants. So all of these plants that I bought, except for my tomatoes, were around $130, I think, or $100. Maybe not even that much, actually. Anyway, doesn't even matter because the grocery bill is so much now. Even if some of this food is edible, it'll be, balanced out, cost effective. I also can't have nice things because I get them dirty. I've been touching my camera and the tripod and it's just like all soil. What a mess. So these beds here, I'm actually a little bit panicky. I only have 1, 2, 3 of my small beds left, and then 2 of my big beds, which I was gonna put beans and maybe some squash in. For a year that I thought I'd have empty beds, now I'm like, uh-oh. Okay. All of the potted plants are in. So we've got peppers, cabbage and tomatoes, tomatoes, onions, broccoli, lettuce, spinach, Brussels sprouts and leftover cabbage with some cucumbers, slicer cucumbers on the end, garlic. Then I forgot I had to leave a bed for Brian's carrots. So carrots, and then the next bed, tulips stuck in the gate. Oh my gosh, it's so windy. Okay, so yeah, leeks, kale, but this is going to be Brian's carrot bed, and honestly I'm cold, I'm not dressed appropriately, so I'm just going to go inside and pick out the bean seeds that I want, and seeds just in general where it's warm, and make a garden plan, because this is the first year that I've planted stuff without an actual garden plan. So I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, but I just want to make sure that I've got everything. So I'm going to go through my seed box. Let's go inside. The chickens, they have started to lay in that basket. See her in there? This morning when we came in, there were 2, and now the dogs can just reach in there and get the eggs. So I got to beat the dogs to the eggs at this point. You guys waiting, or did you already do your thing? You know we don't love you up here, eh? Hey, beauty? Yeah. I'm losing steam, but let's see what we got for seeds. I'm not going to plant all these, but anyways. We got some carrot seeds left, probably not for a whole bed. We have, maybe. We have a Bolero hybrid, which is a very tasty carrot. These were the majority of the carrots that Brian grew last year. Brian's on carrot duty again this year. And if you haven't seen it before, this is how I store my seeds. I think this is a photograph storage container, but I think I heard about this from Jess from Roots and Refuge years ago now. But it has all of these handy dandy little storage containers that you can then organize your seeds. So I organize my seed by start date. Oh. These are the lumberjack beans that my friend Melissa, who's passed away now, gave me last year to plant. I'm glad I kept some back, so I'll show you the ones that I grew. So these are the ones that I grew last year that I saved. And it's interesting because these ones are a lot bigger than the original ones that she sent. But I'm sowing a whole bed of these because I want to give them away to other folks if they want to grow them. So those are a definite yes. Ooh, I have nasturtiums left over. Definite yes. That same friend, Melissa, when she came to visit me one year and she was looking at the garden because she was a gardener, hugely, and seed saver extraordinaire. She's told me you need more color in your garden because it was all like green for food. Anyways, so I'm gonna try, Melissa. I'm gonna try. Cherokee Trail of Tears, grow it every year. Those are a yes. And then these are all of the other beans that she gave me. These are called cranberry, and she said they were climbers. Oh, these are gorgeous beans. I have a thing about beans. I don't know what it is. They're like red. The best part about this right now is reading her handwriting. Gives me a sore heart. These are Canadian Wonder, Morden breeding program. These are Cottage Gardener Canadian Wonder. They are like a red kidney bean. And these are really cool. They're the hull-less pumpkin seed, and I actually remember growing those last year. So I might put some of these in. We're gonna add 3 feet to the netting, or to the height of the fence with the netting, and hopefully that will keep those chickens out. And then I can take off some of those row covers, because that was the other thing. I feel like those row covers are protecting the plants from any kind of wind, and then they're going to be all floppy and weak because they haven't been exposed to wind, because that row cover is so thick. This is how fancy my garden plan is. I've seen a lot of other people that have like make these beautiful like computer projects and like use perfect spacing and measurements, and I'm like, meh. I really just do this for crop rotation to make sure that I'm not putting tomatoes where yeah, I just kind of keep rotating the crops around the garden, and I can just trace them from the year before on the back, so I know. Okay, so this is leeks. This is salad. Lettuce, I put salad. Oh boy. And there she is. Super fancy, but that's all I need. Like, honestly, you can make it as beautiful or not as you want. It's just a good idea to kind of keep track for crop rotation. And I also use it for things like just to keep track of what I want to grow and maybe don't want to grow anymore. Bit of a change of plans. And again, sorry for the wind, but Brian just got home and he got the deer fencing. So we're gonna extend the height of the fence by 3.5 feet, but he's just measuring now because we need to cut posts that we can attach to our posts to extend, that we can attach the fence to. And although this is a commitment of time and Brian's got other jobs he wants to be doing, it is going to be really helpful, because if we don't do this, the chickens will definitely be in the garden. Like, I was just inside and I was being nervous that they were going to be in here. So I think we're going to have to devote some time to this here today, and then at least I can sleep knowing that the chickens aren't hopefully going to be in here. So essentially the fence is going to be 7.5 feet high. So hopefully that's high enough to keep the chickens out, because those white ones, they can really fly. And I'm worried about the birds because it's black netting and I don't know if they're going to be able to see it, and I don't want them to get stuck in it, but we'll just have to kind of keep an eye out for that once we install it. Look at how pretty these tulips are still, though. Look at those. On their way out, but they're still so beautiful. Brian and I both started to do this job and we were like, it is cold out here. So literally we both went in and put long johns on, and like I got more layers on. I just found one of Huey's feathers. I like to keep these. They're so pretty. But Brian is just going to, we have to cut some posts. So Brian is just going to put some wood on the mill and rip it. I think we're going to put up some 2x2s.
We just got finished milling all these 2x2s, and that's what we're going to use to screw onto the fence posts to extend them. So there is our post, and all we've done is screw it onto these boards here. So we have a top and a bottom board. We are screwed there, and then in some spots we could actually screw it to the post. But because the posts are uneven or irregular because they're just cedar posts, we may not be able to do that everywhere. This is the deer fencing that we bought. It's just black. It's just black plastic, like tough plastic, square netting basically. And so now my job is to cut it in half because we're only using, because it comes in 100-foot rolls, and so we bought 100 feet, and then it'll be 200 feet, and that'll be just enough to go around the entire garden. Stay tuned, I need my glasses. Resuming now that I can see. I'm not going to cut my fingers off. Okay, well, as you can see, I've got all of the netting up, and I've tied on pieces of flagging tape so that other birds, like native birds, can see the barrier, because it is really difficult to see with the naked eye. So hopefully that works so far. I don't see any trapped birds. I keep coming out and having a peek just to be sure. So that is good. I have, though, been thinking of a couple of downsides because I didn't really think of all of the kind of side effects of doing this. The first one is that I can't pass anything over the fence anymore, and I don't have easy access to the compost. That should be okay from this point on because everything now is planted. And so I usually use the compost most at the end of the season when the netting can come down. So that's good. I will take the netting down. I didn't think about that, but I am going to do it because kind of for the winter and just for cleanup, it's going to be annoying, and I don't want to look at this flashy flagging tape. It does look very festive, but I don't want to look at it all winter long. So far, we've had 0 chickens in the garden, which is very good. And then I think the other kind of downside is just the work in putting it up and down. But if it keeps the chickens out, then that's cool. We were lucky because we have a sawmill, so we just milled the lumber for the posts. And the deer fencing, we got a 100-foot roll. It's 7 foot high. We cut it in half, was $100. So as far as expenditure, it wasn't very much. And it saves me from having to do row covers on each bed. Although for the garlic, I have to keep it on until I think we're free of leek moth time. I have to look to see when that is, like look at the insect's life cycle. Because right now the garlic's kind of smushing up against the hoops. Like they're tall, they're at least 3 feet tall. But still, like the garlic's growing so much taller. So I might have to try to adjust those somehow. But yeah, this looks like it's gonna work. So anyways, hope you are having a great gardening season and that your gardens are in. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.